Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my May 2019 horoscope report for you, where I will give you the need-to-knows for your sign, plus talk about the general transits that no doubt will be affecting you. I'll let you know the places where the stars are in beautiful harmony and the possibilities that are open from those connections, as well as the places where the stars are in conflict and the challenges that could come from those connections. And resources, ideas, tips on how to use that energy and understand the energy to create alchemy in your life and have the most graceful and productive month possible. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, where I have lots of resources for you on your journey, including a very extensive astrology blog. You can see my new moon and full moon blogs that can help you make the most of those portals of energy that open every couple of weeks. You can sign up for a live reading at my site, and you can also sign up for my astrology apprenticeship program if you resonate with how I teach astrology and you would love to learn. Check out my new book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days, which is an Amazon bestseller. You can see that on Amazon or at radicalprayerbook.com. So let's see what the stars have for you this month. Hello Libra friends, we have a very active May 2019. I'm excited to tell you all the details. The first thing that I want to talk about is the continued movement of planets through Aries is definitely going to bring overstimulation, and that is regardless of where your Libra placement is. As planets move in a 180-degree angle, as they do when they're moving through Aries, affecting Libra placements, it is the energy of being pulled in two different directions. So you've had this theme going on in April. As the planet started to move into Aries, it started to kick these angles for you, making you feel like you have to do so much over here, but you also have to do so much over here, and that the only way to manage it all is to become a superhero, more of a superhero than you already were. So I love these angles, this particular angle for activating your superhero self, I always call it, because in order to really manage it, you have to give equal attention to both ends of the spectrum where you're getting pulled. So you can reach a transcendence point where you're kind of riding a wave. So that would be a good goal to have, is to access your superhero self. The focus on relationships that has started a while ago, and actually some of that is long-term energy where just like relationship space is changing, how you are in relationship is changing, and that is in a long-term way. The short-term planetary movements recently started to focus on this area of your life. So you have a long-term story, and now the planets are crowding. April, we talked about the same thing, this energy of relationships. So I'll show you the charts in a little bit, but I want to describe what goes on when you have a very full area of focus. So relationship sector is being focused on with different planetary energies, and every planetary energy represents a person or a personality, kind of like at a party having a bunch of eclectic guests where this person, like the sun, has this warmth and vibrance, and you want to be by them, and, but there's also this spotlight, like this transparency, so you've got this spotlight of transparency going on in your relationships. And then you've got Mercury, which brings a lot of communication within your relationship. So a lot of things to deal with, paperwork, administrative things, just busy things that have to be dealt with. Then you have Venus that's going to be there, where it's like, money talks and love talks and, in some cases harmony and blessings when Venus is moving through that placement. And then Uranus is there, just the planet of shock and awe, which is just like radical change. Either you are doing things to surprise other people or they are doing things to surprise you. So there's that long-term placement that's going there. So just a massive amount of energy having to do with a focus on relationships. So this has to do with coworkers, clients, romantic partnerships, neighbors, anybody who you're in close personal relationship with, but also the relationship to relationship is what's being actively transformed, is how you are in relationship. And there is a very long-term theme of you of working on the people pleasing. So basically getting pulled so far away from maybe what is comfortable for you, where you even lose track of what you like or what you would want to do, and then these kind of like bubbles of, hey, maybe I want to do this. And then it goes against what other people in your life would feel comfortable with. So there's this theme of this surging of freedom, desire for freedom opening up within you that is not going to be easily quelled without some attention. So I don't want to tell you exactly how you have to deal with it. It's going to be personal per individual, but I will suggest some things that I've seen from Uranus transits is if you can move through it as consciously as possible. Sometimes when people wake up one day and they realize how much they've given themselves over to other people, they get mad and then they act not from a place of love because they're angry at themselves, angry at other people. But if you can heal that anger before you make the decisions and come with love instead of coming with anger, the karmic backlash will be spared. You could be spared the karmic backlash, where you can move through these changes consciously and empathetically, seeing how they're affecting other people, but also taking yourself into consideration. So there's a huge theme of that kind of thing going on. So this is a really great time for you to find people who can help you with things if you need to hire somebody, or if you need to get resources of any kind, activate resources. This is an amazing time for all of those kind of things. Getting help with anything. I love this time for that. Something else that's being very strongly activated has to do with your sector of higher learning. So higher learning, education of any kind, spiritual pursuits, anything involving religion, anything involving travel, like broadening horizons. There's a strong energy of having your horizons broadened and your interests being diverse. So Mars in the planet of Gemini's all over the place, and it's moving through the 9th house of all of these things that I just discussed. So like dabbling, interest in all of a sudden you're interested in this and this and this and this. So it can be a very busy time in gathering information and in going places and doing things, or just activating your higher sense of purpose and awareness and your place within the whole storyline. So we have that going on. We also have Jupiter continuing to accentuate. Well, early, it's the 3rd house, middle, it's the 3rd house. And for some of you late degree people, it's also the 3rd house. For the rest of you late degree people, it's the 2nd house. If you don't know where you are in the spectrum, early, middle, or late, basically the first Libra, September born Libras, or 0 to 9 degrees is early. And then like October 1st through 10th is middle degrees, or 10 to 19 degrees if you're watching for your rising sign or moon. And then late degree placements are the like October 11th through the rest of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees. Okay, so you all in the back section of the Libra placements, you still have Jupiter expanding your money house and giving you opportunities to lay a foundation for your finances. But you're having sprinkles of Jupiter in the 3rd house, which is where it is for everyone else. So, and then it will go retrograde and it will kind of back away and just kind of be about your money and your values and your self-esteem and your, anything having to do with your relationship with the earth, material realm, etc. But this 3rd house, where everybody is feeling it now, all Libras, has to do with communication, expanding your communication, expanding your reach, saying things in a way that will help you to reach win-win situations. But on a more metaphysical level, I've seen 3rd house Jupiter transits as having to do with communication with things that are not in this dimension. So, even people who are fully grounded in this earthly plane, like I am and I was when I started interacting with things that were not as visible to the to the naked eye, or to the trained eye. This sector of just the things that we can't see. So many things, discoveries in life that scientists are proving now are things that were there all along. We just didn't know about them. And it's those things that are there right now that are not very visible. Those realms are speaking to Libras. This energy of expanding your awareness is very strong at this time. So it's very exciting time. Okay, let's see what else I had on my mind. In general, the planets moving through Taurus it's a little bit awkward for Libra placement. So there is an awkwardness this month that has to do with this earth, like grounded energy, because Libra energies don't see things as necessarily black and white. They see things in this gray area where, kind of like a full spectrum way of looking at things. And earth signs have a tendency or when the planets are in the earth energies, it's kind of like wanting more clarity or wanting more mundane practicality. But Libra energies can kind of just expand beyond that. So when you have something saying like, here's the real world, here's the real world, here's the things that have to be done, you know, like earth energies tend to do, that can be annoying to earth placements. So there is an awkwardness this month as those earth placements, you know, bump up in an uncomfortable angle to your Libra placements, and there will be multiple planetary placements doing that. As Mars is continuing its transit through Gemini, that is a sweeter placement for action for Libra placements. So the earlier third of the month, as Mars is in there, you might feel more comfort with action. And then as Mars, the action planet, moves into water sign, Cancer, that's going to bump up against your Libra placements in an uncomfortable way, bringing in this energy of emotion and charge to something more of like a mental process. So definitely look out for a little bit of awkwardness there. But in general, you know, there's just so many positive potentials for Libras to push through and so much transformation afoot. So those are the things that are most on my mind for you. Now I'm going to just quickly pop the charts in just so that you can have a visual of the things that I just discussed. And then after that, I'll come back on the screen and we'll talk about the general transits and how they'll definitely be affecting you, some dates to watch, and some other need to knows. Okay, so just a reminder, if you are an early Libra, that means you're pretty much September born, or 0 to 9 degrees. Middle Libras around October 1st through 10th, or 10 to 19 degrees. And late degree Libras, you would be October 11th through the rest of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees. Now please note that these dates can shift slightly because the day that the sun moved into your sign is different every year. So depending on the year you were born, these could be toggled by a couple of days in either direction. But using these parameters will get you close enough to be in the spectrum of where you need to be to understand the report the best. Okay, so, and yes, if you're watching for your rising sign or moon sign, this is relevant for you too. All right, so the things that we talked about, just really quick to have the visual. We talked about Mars accentuating this higher learning. You can see it's further along for middle. It's got a little longer to go. I mean, further along for early. It's dropped back a little bit from middle. And you late degree people, you're just about to have this come in. Okay, so it's been going on starting in April for the earlier and middle, but then in May you really start to get this energy. So we talked about the higher learning, the diverse focus on different studies or travel or publishing and writing as well is another thing that's for, and you know, communicating or speaking, things like that are very much accentuated by Mars in this placement. So you might see some notable progress. And if you do need to have a launch, like for a website or a speaking something or teaching, launching a course or launching anything, writing a book, you know, publishing a book, something like that, or starting a blog, I love the middle of May for that. And I'll go into more details in the general transits, but the middle grouping of May dates are my favorite for important things like that. Okay, so you can see this supercharged relationship sector. And that is middle, early, middle, and late all have that energy there. Okay, and then what else did we talk about? We talked about Jupiter accentuating the communication house, bringing your communication online in a bigger way, also multidimensionally. You late degree placements, you can see here that Jupiter got right here to the line. So it is affecting the third house as well for you. So those things I spoke about are relevant for you. But you also have some strong stories of and potentials of Jupiter expanding your money sector. And many, many people with Jupiter moving through their second house do actually make more money and leave that transit with a better financial situation. So you late Libras, you still have quite a bit more potential there this year where hopefully that can manifest for you. Okay, so those are the charts. Now I want to talk about the general transits, to point out some dates and some other things that I feel you need to know for this month. So I'm calling the theme of May 2019 for all signs, conquer the obstacles and gain the rewards, because this month we've got all kinds of obstacles, but there's actually more sweet energy than there are challenging energies. And there are going to be things to get through, but you have a lot on your side for getting past them with flying colors. The factors that flip the switch towards action in April are still at play very much this month in May. So we have the first month in a long time without having a personal planet retrograde, either shadow period or the actual retrograde, as part of the equation. So in April, even though Mercury was not retrograde, the whole first half of April, the post-shadow period from Mercury was still in effect. Now here in May, we don't have Mercury, Venus, Mars, the personal planets at all retrograde, nor do we have any of their shadow periods for the transit. So we don't have that to impede progress. At the same time, there are multiple placements in very grounded Taurus, and Jupiter is still retrograde and Saturn is now going retrograde, and all of these factors can serve to balance ambitions, adding more of a streamlined approach. So you'll hear me talking about this theme for a while because there are multiple factors in the stars that are really telling us to get super efficient with our energy. So you'll have more opportunities this month to really get stuff done, but at the same time, there are challenges to overcome, and there is this sort of reevaluation of the things that you've brought out and checking in and strengthening to see what you need for future expansion. There are many great aspects in Gemini or with Mercury, which rules Gemini this month. So that's going to bring lots of communication, lots of movement, lots of busyness, brilliant social opportunities. We'll have advancement of writing and other creative projects, anything having to do with travel, upgrading communication devices and modes of transportation. All of those things are in the Mercury Gemini domain. So expect a lot of focus in those areas of life. And there are a lot of beautiful aspects that can help boost those efforts. At the same time, there are also a number of clashes with the energy. I'd say more good effects than challenging ones, but we still have to look out for them and you still will have to overcome them. So there could be some mini slowdowns or drama that come from those challenges. As with April, in May, there's also a hurriedness that goes along with a lot of these energies, and that is could lend itself to unnecessary injuries or accidents or wasting time or just not paying attention to things that can come from that distractedness. So definitely be extra aware and breathe and try to stay centered as you move your body and as you're communicating and as you're carrying through all of these things that want to come through this month. So Jupiter is still in retrograde, and this is one of the factors I referred to earlier. It's asking us to pull in a little bit and to carefully evaluate these next steps. So we want to conserve energy while making the most impact. And Jupiter was on an expansion spree for a while, and things are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then as it's been in retrograde, now it's a time to shore up the foundation for the future expansion. So the theme of creating systems that fix situations where you were spread too thin is going to continue this month. And also, as with April, the energy of fewer brilliantly placed efforts rather than a whole bunch of haphazard efforts, the best that you can. Now, it's not going to be super easy to do that in some ways because we do have a lot of energy in Aries, we do have a lot of energy in Gemini, besides that grounded Taurus, which is kind of the glue that helps it all hold together. But it will be busy, it will be scattered, and there will be a lot going on. In general, there are a ton of awesome transits this month. And like I said, more sweet days than challenging ones, but for the beginning of the month and the end of the month especially, like everything away from just like the exact middle of the month pretty much, every time there's a sweet aspect, there's a super challenging one, and a lot of times the same exact day, and it's just kind of crazy. So that means that there will be obstacles to get through to gain the rewards, which is why I call the theme of the month that, expect some challenges. It's not going to be like you just walk up to the gates of the place that you're trying to go and you just walk in, It always reminds me of Paperboy, that game Paperboy, when like the guy's just trying to deliver his newspapers and there's like crazy people and dogs and stuff just like trying to get in his way, right? That's what life feels like sometimes. But you can maneuver around it and get the papers delivered this month for sure, but it's going to take work to get to your goals and consistency. So there's a beautiful flow of sweet transits between May 11th and May 18th. There are some challenging ones around the 11th and there are some challenging ones around the 18th, but all the time in between, they are like right in the mid-month, is just sweet aspects, so many sweet aspects every day. So if you have to do something important and you need to have oomph without antagonism, your best time of the month to launch and try to push things through is the middle of the month, because that will be where you don't have this contradictory force at every moment like there is for the rest of the month. Okay, so if you want more details about what aspects are happening on what days and what can go along with that, definitely sign up for my free email newsletter, AnnieHelpsYou.com. And when you sign up for my free email newsletter, you also get, as a wonderful free gift, my entire 28-day virtual coaching package for free. So that will keep you on the list where you'll get these monthly write-ups a month ahead, where I give you the details and the overview of the month so you can see the days that have challenges and what you're working with there and the ones that are sweets if you're trying to plan ahead of time, as many people are. I'm going to hit just a couple of highlights, and then you can see the rest of the details at AnnieHelpsYou.com when you sign up for my free newsletter. Okay, so in the beginning of the month, the first couple of days, we've got sweet aspects and challenging ones just right next to each other. We've got the new moon on May 4th. That's the new moon in Taurus, so definitely make your new moon wishes, and you can see my blog about that for more details. If you just search for Making Powerful New Moon in Taurus Wishes, Annie, you will find it. But this has a beautiful aspect with Neptune on that day, so I expect some sweetness there sandwiched in between some of the challenges. Look out for overexertion and overcommitment in those days, like right there at the end of the week. Definitely take full advantage of those days between May 11th and May 18th for anything important, big steps, commitments, signing paperwork, launching things. They're just like so many beautiful things. I also love travel at that time. And really this whole month is amazing for travel. You just have to be really careful as you're doing it, and aware. Careful and awareful is what I say. Okay, let's see. There was one other thing I wanted to point out here. The full moon on May 18th. The full moon is at 27 degrees of Scorpio, and that also has a conjunction with Venus and Uranus. So this is really important. So let's just take this piece by piece. We've had multiple months in a row where we've had full moons that are centered around relationships, okay? Because we had 2 Libra full moons in a row, and now we have a Scorpio full moon. And the Libra and Scorpio are these relationship houses. So there may be some major drama at this time, or there could be wonderful breakthroughs within relationships or of any kind, or things coming to be revealed that were hidden before, or just sweet moments, a culmination of something sweet within a relationship. Of any kind. So fullness, drama, completion, breakthroughs, things like that in the areas of Scorpio. But the wild card here is this energy of Venus in Venus and Uranus, because whenever Uranus is involved, it's like things out of the blue, surprises, jostling, and it could be better for better or worse, So Venus rules love and money and self-esteem. So Uranus coming in here often can mean like conflict or fight or something surprise within a relationship that is a challenge. But sometimes it's like a marriage, proposal or something that comes out of the blue, and that's a culmination of this, relationship energy. So it could really be something sweet like that, but we just never know when Uranus is involved. So expect intensity. I always, we all have to live our lives and we have to work and do what we have to do, but if you can leave the full moon a little bit open so that if some challenges come up and you can be present for them, then you might be grateful for that. So try to be well rested. That's the other thing that I recommend when Uranus is involved, because if something comes out of the blue and you have to deal with it, at least if you're well rested and calm going into it, it will be easier for you to handle it in the most graceful way. In general, since the energy of Venus and Uranus are both in Taurus, this is, earth energy. This is like ground breaking, ground shaking energy. And sometimes it can be quite literally. Uranus in Taurus has already been very much associated with the waking up of the volcanoes over the last year. And, the other earth changes that come from that and earth effects that come from that, wild weather and things like that, that are related to the earth and the atmosphere. So, just kind of be aware at those times that there's more energy and more power, and just follow your intuition as far as where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so those are the things that are most on my mind for this month. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter, get my Shine 28-day virtual coaching program for free, get these written version of these general reports in your inbox a month early. You can sign up for a live reading there. You can see more about my vocational courses that I have, including my astrology apprenticeship program, where I can teach you how to use astrology for your personal or professional purposes. And I have lots of other things on my website, like subliminal audios that help you to train your brain in the direction of things that you want. So you can see all that at anniehelpsyou.com. Definitely check out my book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life in the World in 28 Days. If you are interested if you're a spiritual seeker and you want to align your energies with that of the divine and have the most easy, graceful life possible, this is your little friend. I made it in a nice portable size. It's a beautiful book on the inside and out for you to take with you and use the power of affirmation and prayer to transform your life and the world in positive ways. So you can see that at radicalprayerbook.com. It's an Amazon bestseller. You can go to my husband's website, iamhelios.com, iamhelios.com. He's got all kinds of goodies there. He does astrology readings and tarot readings. And if you'd like written horoscopes by me, plus other lifestyle blogs for natural living, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com and see my written horoscopes for you for each sign a month early each month. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.